Hey guys, welcome back to the Noob Nerd channel. I am Sid. For those of you who are this is your first video with, welcome to the channel. And for my returning subscribers, welcome back. This is a new type of video that I will be doing. Of course, as you can see, it's a Flash episode reaction slash discussion slash review. More of a discussion type thing, because that's what I usually like to do these days. Just like to ramble on about my favorite TV shows based on my favorite comic book characters. I do reviews, reactions, but I wanted to do not just for films but television, focus on that. And I actually wanted to start these types of discussions with the first episode of The Flash season 6. And of course, it's a very important timescale because this is leading up all the way to the massive event of Crisis on Infinite Earths. I wanted to start on Flash episode 1, but I couldn't get around to it. I should have. I can only apologise. But now I'm going to start from episode 4 and obviously give you a recap of what my feelings are towards the Arrowverse. Obviously I'm Sid. Who am I? Of course, even if you do know me from other videos, what's my relationship with the DC Universe? On the CW in the US, of course, I come from the UK, so I have to watch the episode a bit later than others. Find my ways to watch it a day later, so most of probably when you compare it to all the other reactions of the Flash or Arrow or Batwoman, of all those shows, they probably come a bit earlier than mine. But it's all good. It gives me time to watch them, mate. I watch Axon, Blind Waves reactions to it and reviews. I really like them. I really like talking about this show. And I think these type of CW shows, I think they allow for this discussion to happen weekly upon weekly with each new episode. Or maybe 4 weeks if there's breaks in between episodes, which there's probably going to be now since I've started reviewing them. Just my luck. So yeah, I hope you're there for the ride. And yeah, let's just get on with it. But of course, before I get on to episode 4, I want to talk to you through my feelings towards previous seasons and the first 3 episodes of this season, obviously. The Flash, of course, was never an interesting superhero to me. It was never really... He's just someone who was fast. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Good superhero to have on the side. A good side dish, if you know what I mean. But of course, when the Flash TV show came along, of course, maybe many of you knew about his potential and where the stories could go. But I had no idea. I just wanted to watch all the episodes. I'd heard how good Arrow was. There was a good amount of hype and marketing surrounding this show. Of course, I remember the first ever trailer for the Flash actually had like 60 million views. I think it still has on YouTube. You can still check it out now. And yeah, that got me interested into it. I was like, oh, seems like cool. Seems like I haven't watched a superhero show. Let's watch this one. I think it was probably the first superhero show I fully started watching from the beginning. Not just Smallville episodes when I was a really young kid who didn't remember what was going on. You know what I mean? So The Flash, season 1, season 2, most of us can agree are god tier. If you don't enjoy with my opinion, it's not it's basically my opinion's fact. No, obviously this is my opinion. Leave your thoughts down below. But I think most people will agree. Season 1 to 2, not the best. No, well, was the best. Was the best. Season 3, I still liked. Had a good concepts to it. I don't want to go more into detail because this is about season 6. I think you know what's going on. I like the future stuff. I like the Savitar stuff, but some of the execution was a bit off. It took too long to reveal what the villain was going to be for that, and it looked like they were just retreading ground from season 2 to season 1. It was time for a new non-speedster villain, but that wasn't necessarily the problem. And season 4 exemplified that because I was excited for the Think at the start. I liked the Trial of the Flash storyline, but as the season progressed, the ending was just a bit rushed. It just felt a bit... Let's just do stuff. Forget character interactions. Let's just do stuff. Because for the sake of it, let's make Iris the leader for out of nowhere. Let's make Caitlin Snow split personality with Killer Frost out of nowhere with little to no explanation. Let's just assume the audience know this now. Okay. You know what I mean? It's a bit weird. But I still kept on watching it. I was close to stopping watching it. I think after season... I forgot who the villain was for season 5 now. That tells you all you need to know. I remember most episodes from season 1 to 2 and even 3, but season 4 and 5 is forgettable. But Trial of the Flash was good. I'll give them that. Trial of the Flash, that was a good storyline. The Thinker had potential, but by the end, I don't like the way he was swapping bodies. I like the actor they had. Season 5, who's the villain for season 5? How have I forgotten this? It was the Thinker, and then it was... Oh my god, Cicada. See, Cicada, man, forgettable, absolutely forgettable. And the very fact that I forgot about him and her, of course, there was two cicadas. I like that concept again, and again, concepts that are not being fully realized. I like the idea of having two villains, one coming from the future, one coming from the present. That's cool. But the thing is, his voice just got so annoying. It's like, Cicada. It's like, no, he's trying to do a bad Zoom impression. It was like, you're not as cool as Zoom. Why just have your normal voice on? Like, what are you doing? And again, the start was cool with him having that relationship. Was it Cicada having the relationship with his adopted daughter, who's his niece, but he never cared for it until he became a daughter, or something like that. I'm probably making this sound more confusing as it is, but it was confusing. Sometimes it was confusing. Time travel with a time travel show. When it got introduced in The Flash, I was so gassed. I was like, The Flash. That's what made me love The Flash. Mate, now it's in top 10, top 5 superheroes in my list. Because I was like, whoa. Not as him being a good character. Not just that. He can bloody time travel. He can do this. Bloody hell, he's sick. But of course, it got a bit confusing. That doesn't help with the later seasons. The CW always seem to drop off in seasons. I don't know why. But seems to have risen back up. The most interesting part of Season 5 was the reverse Flash stuff. That's probably... That was the only good thing. It was a slight improvement on Season 4. Season 4 is the worst season, in my opinion. Or, I don't know. Season 4, Season 5 are tied as the worst seasons of The Flash. That's all I'm going to say for that. But now, let's move on to Season 6. That's enough talk about that. Okay? Some of you probably already clicked off or skipped part of the video. But I'm going to be doing a weekly Flash review discussion. And excuse me if it's not the best quality. I do apologise for that. And I will shore things up for... As I want this to be a consistent thing, innit? You love consistency. Consistency equals gold for YouTube, I think. I'm bloody expert, I am. You know what I mean? I'm a new YouTuber, of course. Just trying to make my way through the DC universe, and I've watched Arrow season 1 for people who know. I watched most of Supergirl. I watched half of Supergirl basically, season 1, 2, and a bit of 3. But after that, I couldn't be asked. Got no time, and also it wasn't the most interesting. It wasn't crap. It wasn't the most interesting. I don't know if it's still crap now. Or if it's crap now, but lots of people, because there's lots of opinions on the internet. CW shows all cheesy. What are you doing? This is crap. This is not DC. And some people are like, this is God tier. And to me, I'm a fan. I'm invested in the Arrowverse. I watch all the crossovers. Legends of Tomorrow, of course. I watched season 1, 2, and 3. I think I just about didn't finish season 3, just like Supergirl. But yeah, new showrunner. And of course, with the new Crisis event that has been accelerated through time, literally in real life and in the Flash show. Of course, it was supposed to happen in 2024, one of them years, isn't it? But they made it like, let's do it. Like, we've got all the characters here. We've been setting this up for years. Maybe we didn't know that we were setting this up, but we've been making this universe for years. Let's just pay it off now with an Endgame style event. Don't mean to compare to Marvel, but I think it's going to be... I'm so excited. I am so excited. Of course, with the TV shows, you can develop the characters more, and sometimes they've missed that opportunity to do that. But with season 6, they have sorted themselves out. New showrunner, I think Eric Wallace or what his name is, mate. Or there's new writers in the show. Because okay, let's calm down. Episodes 1 to 3 of the Flash season 6, consistently good episodes. Like, I was like, for once, I'm not having a good episode and then a bad episode. I mean, going wrong way. Good episode, and then a bad episode, and then a good episode again, and then a crap one, and then a really good one, and then just mediocre. It's just... No. 3 episodes to start off the season. Really exciting stuff. Good character interactions. Good setting up of the characters. The new villain of the season, Ramsey Rosso. I like the little interactions between now. Killer Frost, of course, is now the main centerpiece of this whole season now. Not main centerpiece. She is controlling Caitlin's body now. And seeing more into her psyche, and maybe seeing what her point of view is, because they're personalities now. And they didn't really fully explain why that was a thing, in my opinion, properly. But now they're justifying it in terms of creative storytelling they can do, because they're actually paying that off well. I did always think Killer Frost was a bit annoying. Now she's annoying, but in a cool, edgy way, and she serves the story well now. Barry Allen has now found out that he's gonna die. Iris has got her own reporting newspaper thing, which they tried to sort out in last season, but now here you're actually seeing it in practice, which is really good. Seeing how actually have something to actually do in the story that makes sense and not doesn't feel forced, if you know what I mean. And of course, oh bloody hell, what's going on here then? Sorry about that. It's like every video there's an abrupt cut. If you've been watching my videos, but this time the flash just came in and touched my keyboard, and I'm zooming into the camera all of a sudden. What's going on there then? Bloody hell. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't happen again. What was I on about? Yeah, episodes 1 to 3, good episodes, consistently good episodes. I was like, okay, really good start to the season. Following this through, of course, with the crisis happening. Of course, they have more time to propel through the story and not have filler episodes. They have to move on at a good pace and feel a sense of urgency. You know what I mean? So yeah. But I think this episode 4, I think it's the best episode of this season so far. I didn't think it could get much better after episode 3, to be fair. I think it's been getting progressively better just as you warm into the season, if you know what I mean. Because there's so much more dialogue. It's like so many, you know what I mean? It's such a simple thing to say, but you're sitting there and you're like, even you're surprised of how good it is, because it's like you're not used to having much dialogue scenes like that are there for character interaction and character reflection of the events, and not in a like a fast rushed kind of way, like just giving you just a sense of the world that they have now found themselves in. Barry is finding himself in a situation that he's just told his mates, Caitlin, Iris already knew, Ralph, Caitlin, and Cisco, about his death. And of course, in the last episode, I liked how they had to come to terms with telling them, and now the consequences of that events, which consequences to actions and reflection from characters, is perfectly nuanced and just multifaceted. Amazing! You're back to the heights of season 1 and 2, and if it carries on like this, who knows how much it could get better. So yeah, it's basically, this whole episode is about the reaction to the Team Flash. I'm going to call them Team Flash. That's what they say in the show. Team Flash is coming to terms with Barry gonna die. He's gonna die. Bloody hell! They even showed him dying again just to emphasize the point. And yeah, and that directly parallels Ramsey Rosso's Bloodwork arc in a great and a cool way. And I like how they make it straightforward and what's going on, but also they don't find the audience stupid and be like, oh, this is the themes, this is what we're trying to parallel, this is what we're trying to this is what we want you to analyze here, mate. You know what I mean? They're just doing it in a smart way that makes sense for the characters. It makes sense that Cisco, who spent so much time with Barry, feels like he is his best mate, and they are best mates. And sometimes it gets lost in that in the previous seasons, because Barry hasn't actually been the main centerpiece of the show, or Cisco, not giving them the time they deserve. Barry in some of the previous seasons was actually getting shifted to one side, almost. Of course, Excess, of course, became the main character of the show for a bit, which is good, which is cool, but the show is Barry Allen. It's called The Flash. And if he's not actually the main character in his own show, how do you expect him to develop, let alone all the other characters to develop properly? You know what I mean? And now, Barry Allen talking to Cisco about, Cisco, you need to come to terms with death. You have to accept that I'm gonna die. You have to just accept it, mate. And of course, Cisco's like, I'm not having it, which makes sense. A perfectly normal reaction to do it. And them to get themselves twisted in something to do while they're actually going through this emotional pain deep within the surface that comes out later. So when the new Harrison Wells pops up, I'm like, ooh, another Harrison Wells, but this one is the best one yet. Not the best one yet. Okay, I need to calm down. Okay, I'm saying everything's the best one yet. Okay, great introduction to Harrison Wells, not jarring whatsoever, not stupid accents, not unnecessary comedy all the time. Just cool character development in terms of him serving the other characters well. We'll see how his character's not fully developed yet, of course, so we'll see how his character works. But his character works in terms of fitting him into the story, which I had concerns with. Are they just bringing another Tom? Are they just bringing another Harrison Wells just for the sake of it, so we can have the brilliant actor of Tom Cavanaugh to return again for another season, because he's a season regular, if you know what I mean. So yeah, he comes in. Of course, them three trying to get the cure, the experimental cure, because he's gonna give them information about that cure to get, and then in return, they will give him something that will help him with his own mission down the subway, whatever his geologist ways of doing. Of course, we get to that in a bit. Of course, they Of course, they realize there's nothing there, and I really like the showing you and more showing you, not just telling you that, oh, he's a more of an adventurer, Indiana Jones style Harrison Wells. And I liked the scene where, of course, the guards are just. It's cool to see Barry and Cisco actually doing stuff together, just themselves, isn't it? It reminds me of Barry with Ralph in the Gangster episode, just them two interacting together. Have that again with Cisco, a long-standing member of Team Flash who should be hanging out with Barry a lot, getting themselves into trouble, because I love how Barry and Cisco are just clueless, like metahuman dampeners. Barry's not going to do anything. Cisco's like, okay, my hands are up in the air. I don't know what's going on. You think Harrison's left them, you think it's all set and done, and then, of course, boom, Gadget and Harrison Wells beats them up in that dark red alarm light, which was a really good cinematography, actually. Cheeky cinematography there. Yeah, just a cool way, cool fast way of showing you he's more of an adventure, high style Mission Impossible type of guy, adventure guy, isn't it? At least on the surface. And then that was a really cool introduction to that. Barry and Cisco find out the cure, this experimental cure, is not there. And of course, it seems a bit, oh, what was the point of that then? Except for introducing Harrison Wells in a cool way. So they go back to Star Labs, but then one of them, I think that was this next scene. I think it's the next scene. Barry and Cisco find out that, well, Barry finds out that Cisco actually took the cure himself and made it look like it was missing. And the reason he took it for himself was because he wanted to keep it for Barry in the crisis. And the way it's slow build, there's no music, there's just dialogue. It's just, okay, what's this? Oh. Barry's like, oh, why is this 15-degree thing there? Cisco's like, stop there. Cisco's just like, he's trying to explain himself, but he doesn't need to, because he already went through this before. He's like, he's not willing to accept Barry's death. And Barry goes on to say that I was doing this mission, we agreed on this mission, so I don't think it was a mission. It was like, I wanted you to come with me on this mission so I could show you the hard nature of being a leader, of Team Flash, and how he wanted Cisco to be the new leader. I wanted to teach him about how hard decisions have to be made, and that was really cool stuff. That was a really cool revelation for the audience to not know as well. And Cisco it's so cool when you can see both sides of the equation. You see, oh, Barry's side, okay, Barry's trying to teach Cisco a learning curve. Of course, if you're expert on comics, you know Barry's gonna die, so you can accept his stance on accepting it, and you've seen it from previous episodes. Previous episodes back up the character's reaction to stuff. It's not like a thing where it's, why is this character acting this way when he learned this lesson the previous episode. You know what I mean? It happened a lot in previous seasons. This season, none of that. You understand why Barry's making a tough call, but also at the same time, Cisco, naturally, being the best mate, you know he wants to save him no matter what cost. He didn't see all the millions of different futures. He's just, from his point of view, fit me on the screen. From Cisco's point of view, he's just a mate trying to save his other mate using technology that they have at disposable. I can't speak. He's got a science lab. He's got his own head. Why not? Why can't he save Barry? He hasn't seen all the futures that makes it so definitely he's gonna die. Of course, Barry's like, I've got to die so everyone lives. And that was such a good scene, man. So good. There's of course side storyline. There's always a side storyline, which in CW shows is very much apparent. But if it's used for serving the character development, then it's good. If it's just served for unnecessary humor, again. But no, thankfully nothing like that in this episode. But of course, long story short, Ralph Digby and Iris West has found more evidence for Ralph to actually work on the Sue Dearborn case. And at first I'm like, why are you still going on about this case? Like, it's not that big of a deal, because it's more of an Easter egg for his future wife, the elongated man's future wife. But by the end you realise that it's just about Ralph not just giving up on cases, and him figuring out his place in the I don't even know. Okay, it wasn't a perfect side storyline, because you still don't really understand why he's going for Sue Dearborn, except for the fact that he has to meet her and then get married to her eventually. And I like how they make a cool joke about that in the end. I like how Ralph notices, oh, it's just a missing persons case. It's not like I'm gonna get married. That was a cool line, even very cheesy, but it was a cool nod to the comics. It'd be like, we know what we're doing. But I do like how Iris and Ralph are interacting. Iris is finding evidence. Iris feels a bit like, okay, you're not gonna do anything with this evidence. You've given up on the case. Why? Of course, by the end, Ralph's like, I think Iris. What's Iris say? Again, a bit forgettable. I've just watched the episode, by the way. But Ralph just figures out, yeah, he needs to do what he has to do. And even though you're gonna forget about these side storylines as the stories progress, you're only gonna remember the villain versus the hero plot, unless it's really bad, like Cicada was. So what you have to take away from these episodes is the character. Just seeing them together on screen and talking is enough for you to feel satisfied. And that's a mark of a great TV show with great characters. And these are great actors. All of these people are great actors. So you can use them to the best of ability, and they have. And I like how Ralph and Iris are interacting. I think that's a cool contrast to the start when Ralph was making all these misogynistic jokes a bit. Oh, Barry, your wife is, or your girlfriend's really hot and stuff like that. But now them two are just, they're two good friends now. That's a cool little. That's one of those in between the lines things you can notice as the seasons progress. Like, okay, the writers are not acknowledging this per se in front of you, but you can acknowledge the fact that they started off from this point and they've moved over to this point. I like doing this. Character development. It's cool to witness that. It's cool to witness that kind of stuff, and it's cool to witness Barry progressing to such a good leader and showing it. And as well as making mistakes along the way. He's the protagonist. He has to make mistakes and get through them. But he's more experienced. He's more sure of what he's doing. But now the difficulty is now, how do you convey that to everyone else in such a situation such as crisis gonna happen? So good stuff. And Barry and Bloodworks relationship. Barry wants to save Ramsey Rosso's life, and it might not feel justified when you think about it, but it feels justified when you think about just him wanting to save other people and just him accepting the fact that he's going to die. So let's just save people one person at a time. Ramsey Rosso, last episode again. Following on from each episode, building till the last. Bloodwork wants to find the cure. He's getting to in over his head. There's a few quick flashbacks to his mom, which I thought were a bit too quick. I think, okay, we get it. His mom thinks he can do beautiful stuff in the world, but I think he went too quick at him. Like that was so quick flashbacks, but the end of the episode kind of redeemed that, because Bloodwork then goes on to say, oh, my mom wanted me to do beautiful things in the world. Maybe this was what she meant by that. This is what she meant by that, according to him. He is destined to transcend humanity and cure himself in that way, and he's going to stop at nothing in doing that. Of course, Barry gives him the cure, and I really like that heartfelt scene. Is like, because Ramsey's a good actor. I think I watched a bit of Heroes back in the day. Again, forgot because I was a little kid. Never noticed he was there. But I liked how it's not the interaction between the best mate and Barry Allen, because Ramsey Rosso isn't his best mate. They only just met each other the last episode, if you know what I mean. So I like how he's just like, why are you doing this? And Barry's like, I don't know what he says, but basically said he's a good person, because Barry's a good person. And that's what I love about the Flash. He's a good person, man. Barry Allen, he's a pure of heart guy, and he's making less mistakes as the seasons go on, as he should. But also there are bigger situations to handle now, and the Flash can handle them, whether he dies or not. Less time travel. Yeah, that's why I love the Flash, the character. And I like how Bloodwork is like, oh, thank you, Barry, for giving me this cure. But he does not like hug. There's no hug. There's no interaction. Barry's just doing the right thing. He's not doing it for his best mate. He's just doing it for someone he knows needs the cure. And at first, I thought this was gonna back in my head while I'm watching the episode. I'm like, if Barry gives Ramsey the cure, then Ramsey's gonna become even more powerful in terms of something's gonna the cells are gonna interact with the metahuman cells and then somehow make him more stronger in his, or more Bloodwork, more squid-like monster like you see in the comics. I thought that was the route they were gonna take, but again, it surprised me, giving me something I didn't think I wanted. It didn't work. The cure just didn't work. And that can just be enough to tip him tip Ramsey over the edge, and it makes sense because Ramsey again talks about death keeps on winning, keeps on beating him. He beat Mom, it's gonna beat him as well because he's suffering from the same disease. And that's all going to be enough to tip him over the edge. Not just his mum dying from it, but he himself is going to die. And also Barry's kind act came to nothing, pretty much. At least in his head. And he has to become something more. And he's a clever guy as well. He recognises he's a scientific man. And I like how he's explaining everything to the audience without making it sound really cheesy. Because he's using the machine or a little recording device like a doctor would, or a scientist, like an evil scientist would, if you want to compare, to record his findings and record his audio, like explaining what he's doing through his experiments, and him figuring out in his mind that, oh, the blood works better or something like that. When the person you're sucking the blood out is in adrenaline, when they're scared, and the anger, of course, that's most likely that's how you get adrenaline, from being scared, angry. It can also happen when you're having exercise. So there could be less dangerous methods, Ramsey, but at the end of the day, you're getting your blood sucked out anyway. So whatever Ramsey does in terms of that, it's gonna be evil. Not evil. He's not an evil guy, but he thinks he has to just become something more than human, and just he's saving his life before anyone else's. He's breaking his doctor's code. I like how he looks at the doctor's mantra: "Do not harm any patients." But he's gonna harm anyone to get what he wants, to get the cure for himself, and maybe a cure for that. What's it called? Not HIV, HIF or something. What's it called? Maybe that's worth it, the sacrifice of certain people for the greater good, as all villains say, as all good villain motivations are. And I like how the fight came in on a good status. We had enough dialogue scenes. Let's get to the main action. The Flash going against these zombies, trying to figure out a way to stop them, but also rehabilitate them. How to stop? Oh wait, he doesn't quite understand Bloodwork's powers. He can control people who suck the blood out of, like zombies. Halloween themed episode, of course, sort of. So yeah, they make a good excuse of why the Flash can't be able to just straight away punch Bloodwork out the way. You know what I mean? Again, another problem from previous seasons that they seem to rectify. Of course, there's still going to be a bit plot holes. Like, could be like, there's always going to be a few plot holes with that. Every episode is going to be like, if you're going to nitpick, you're going to be like, oh, the Flash could have just done this, done that. But it's about minimizing those nitpicks and just making it make sense for the story, and not making it feel so convoluted where it's like, you're just standing there now, Flash. Just get him before Cicada flies away. You know what I mean? Bloody hell. But no, none of that here. Killer Frost is there. I like a Killer Frost is there. I like a Killer Frost and Barry are the only powered persons. The only powered people there. Upon thinking about it, I don't know why Elongated Man is not there. But I'm guessing he's just using his powers for detective stories. But that didn't cross my mind. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm invested. So it's fine. You know what I mean? Killer Frost, of course. Caitlin knows about Ramsey. They were good friends once in the doctor department, or medical school, I think. So it makes sense. I like their interactions. Hopefully we'll see more of that. But also like how Barry's developing his own relationship with Ramsey, and he's fully trusting Ramsey, whilst Ramsey is just not, just like, I recognizing Barry, you're gonna die as well. You're a dead man as well. That was a good stuff. That was a good line from last episode. I wish I sort of continued that notion here, but this episode was solely focused on making Ramsey more and more unhinged, and I think the actor did a really good job with that. Him threatening the person, the Asian doctor. Don't want to be racist, but I just want to threatening the doctor and be like, "Oh, I came for you because you couldn't save my mom." Again, everything's playing. It's not just him wanting to transcend humanity. It's mostly out of his own selfish inner desires and his inner thoughts. Him not thinking straight. Him not being like, him being basically he's about a man who lost his mom. You know what I mean? That's the fundamental thing, and everything else is probably bullcrap. But the way he's saying it, he's convincing himself that this is the right way to go. And he's almost flying off. You know, when he escapes, he looks like bloody Spider-Man. It's like Venom. You know what I mean? And then the final scene of not the final scene, but the final scene of Barry talking to Joe West. Beautiful scene, beautiful scene, Beautiful scene. There's nothing more to say. I think I've gone too much time onto this video thanks to that introduction and my rambling on about previous seasons and stuff. I want to make these episodes shorter. Beautiful scene by the end. I don't really want to discuss about that scene. Do you know why? Because it's just beautiful. If you know, you know. You know what I mean? It was long overdue. It was long overdue, and it wasn't just a Joe pep talk. I love pep talks from Joe. I think they're some of the best scenes in every season. But this time it was a more revelation. It was more of character development. It was more character revelations that surprised the audience, but also, when you think about it, it makes sense. Joe West is Barry's dad, and he's gonna feel that it's unfair that Barry should be dying, especially when Barry's showcasing his good qualities and how he's such a good man. Even in that conversation in itself, when he's talking to Joe, he's like, "Joe, you were the only person who allowed me to become the Flash." That was the closest for me crying. That was close. Yeah, that was the closest for me tearing up since season 3 or 2. And I could lie and say it was 4 and 5. But I felt emotion, especially XS's death in the last season finale. But truly feeling an emotional connection to these characters, and feel like this is a TV show well put together, and this is the natural result of that TV show progression. It was the closest to me tearing up. Really, and it makes you truly believe Barry's gonna die, even if he might not. We'll see. We'll see. And we also see if the Monitor, how he's involved in the new Nash Wells' plan in the subway. That was a cool little surprise. Last episode I did think that the Monitor was involved, but I completely forgot about it until, of course, the last end credit scene, when it's revealed that Nash Wells is it shows a hologram of the Monitor, and he's almost building a door for him in the subway. Or no, I think he's like, "Oh, that's what you're doing in here." So is the Monitor in the subway? What's he doing underground? Or is it someone else? Future technology, other Earths. What's going on? Earth 2's dead, apparently, in Arrow. It's a bit mental. But I'll be there to cover it all from this point onwards, on The Flash at least. Of course, I'll be covering Crisis episodes as well. Arrow, Supergirl, Batwoman, when their respective crossover episodes entail. Thank you guys so much for watching. Apologies for any camera hiccups here and there. I don't know why I zoomed in. Still pissed off about that. But yeah, I need to make these episodes a lot shorter. I'm sorry about that. I just like talking about the Flash, and I wanted to make sure people knew what my standings were with the show. Some of you might not care. Some of you just might want me to talk about the actual episode, and I think I did that. So yeah, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe for more videos like this, shorter videos, more concise videos, hopefully. But nevertheless, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.